So in the previous video we had a look at Seoul, South Korea, and the restoration of a river. I'm not going to try to pronounce that river because I'll probably get it wrong and offend a South Korean person. So now we're going to go on to think about air pollution in Hong Kong, and if you are a Hong Kong citizen you will be fully aware of the air pollution. We've already talked about a little bit about air pollution in Hong Kong and some of the responses that the schools in Hong Kong have to that when the air pollution becomes particularly bad. There is a political dimension here, and it's almost part of popular culture to blame the air pollution on mainland China. While it cannot be denied that a significant amount of pollution does come from mainland China, actually we must remember that a lot of the pollution is actually made here in the Hong Kong itself, the special administrative region of Hong Kong. And so, as we are very well aware, there are quite severe health implications of this. We want to dig down a little bit exactly where the air pollution for Hong Kong is coming from, and a major contributor of the air pollution in Hong Kong is actually the shipping industry. So in previous units of work where we looked at transportation and globalization and resources, we've looked at the shipping industry. And the problem with the shipping industry is that it does use the dirtiest, highest sulfur fuel that you possibly can. So it must be remembered that a lot of the pollution that Hong Kong suffers is actually produced within the special administrative region. So this is having an effect on the quality of life and the life expectancy and health of Hong Kong people. For those of you that are using your notebook, I think that image there has been printed out for you, so you can see there basically anything that is not blue, that is orange or dark red being the worst, is over safe guidelines. So you can see Seoul, top of that list, one of the most polluted city on that list, with Hong Kong having very high levels of pollution as well, pretty much all the time. So I think this gives us a 24-hour period, May 2015 May to May 2016. So I think these are the average pollution for each hour of the day. So you can see both Hong Kong and Seoul don't do particularly well. So that's for nitrogen oxide, and we've already talked about nitrogen oxide and its interaction with ozone in making photochemical smog. The other one here, Hong Kong also does very, very badly on the particulate matter, that very small matter that is smaller than 2.5 microns. That small matter is that those small particles are very important. As we said, they change the composition of the atmosphere and the way the atmosphere absorbs solar radiation, but also the 2.5 microns are so small they can actually get deep down into our lungs and potentially cause significant health problems. So when looking at this a little bit further, you can put a monetary value or cost has been put on this pollution. So that's around 11.1 billion Hong Kong dollars because of cardiovascular disease, and that has results in 1,600 premature deaths per year just as a result of the pollution. So this has a real economic cost, but more tragically has a big human cost as well. It has had an effect on Hong Kong's status in the world. Merrill Lynch has downgraded Hong Kong several times over air quality concerns. So that might cause international companies not to move into Hong Kong because they might struggle being able to get the international talent because people are not prepared to live in such a polluted environment. Do watch a video here which talks about Hong Kong and air pollution, and if you have a subscription, or your school has a subscription to the South China Morning Post, you can read this article here. It must be remembered that there is this aspect of the local weather. So when we get in Hong Kong, we get the air streams that come down from mainland China. We do get that pollution brought down to us from mainland China. And when we've got those high pressure conditions, as I'm sitting outside now, we've got high pressure conditions, very clear sky, not very much wind, so I can actually look out now and of my window and see that pollution there. The other thing to remember, and it relates back to those urban canyons that we were talking about before, a lot of the pollution that people actually suffer directly is actually street level pollution, and that street level pollution absolutely does come from cars and other vehicles that are driving up and down the street, and you can't really assign that pollution to mainland China. So in this video we've had a brief think about air pollution in Hong Kong, where the air pollution comes from, the reasons for that air pollution, and the impacts on human health and the impacts on the economy. We've also tried to explode some of those myths in Hong Kong of where our pollution comes from, and actually try to remind ourselves of the importance of locally generated air pollution, principally from the shipping industry and at street level from vehicles. In the next video we're going to go on to look at how Hong Kong is attempting to manage its pollution.